there we go. Okay, good morning, guys. It's me, Wintra, back again with 7 at 7. And this morning I have a special guest, and she's a really special guest to me. So I want to introduce to you Miss April Grove. So, April wears many hats. So she's an author, a small business owner, a sixth grade science teacher, the host of a STEM club and a young writers club for her school. And then you add that to she's a wife and a mom. So she's wearing a lot of different hats there. And she's also been featured in a magazine, I believe it's called Voyage STL.
Yes, ma'am.
So I really feel honored now because she chose to come and speak with me. So I really do. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I am really honored to have you here. So I'm going to let Miss April tell us a little bit about herself and some of the many things that she does.
Hi, I am April. I don't know. I do a lot of stuff. I just call it being me. And that is a lot for a lot of people, but um, I I love anything that has to do with art. So for me, art is different things. It's science, it's STEM. I believe it's the heart of STEM, which is why I love hosting my STEM club. Um, I think it is being an illustrator, an author, and I don't know, it's creative everything. So I host the STEM club because I did my STEM certification about two and a half years ago now.
Okay.
And when I sat down to do it, I was like, oh, this is just everything I used to love doing when I was younger. I didn't realize that it was still like a thing that people did. So I didn't know it was engineering. I didn't know that it was entrepreneurship. I didn't know that it was all these things. And I was just like, oh, what an awesome way to introduce students to things that are actual jobs that are out there
Wow.
that, you don't have to stop doing just because you're an adult. So I thought it was just a great opportunity when I came over to the sixth grade center to teach science to also do STEM club. And I was like, oh, well, that just goes hand in hand anyway, since the first letter of STEM is
Right.
um, and then the Young Writers Club, I just thought it was a cool idea. From the time I got into Ferguson Florissant, which now has been 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah. It's been 11 years and 9 buildings. I've had the honor, I would say, and also the not so honor, because you build those relationships with the kids and then you get pulled away from it. So that
Right.
part kind of hurts a lot.
Yeah.
But it has been an honor to work underneath different teachers, different administrators, and build those relationships with students, because then you get to become more observant of the things that they want or need. And STEM is like a job field that has a big need right now. So me knowing that, and me also having the privilege to be a part of the pilot program for our STEAM middle school.
Okay.
The year that they piloted, I was the building aide that helped out with um, lunch and recess, but also, as Mr. Vortreed used to say, the most important thing is helping the students speak to adults, like their
Right.
socialization, presenting their projects. I did
Okay.
theater all 4 years of high school and 2 years of college. So they utilized my skills in that to help out with STEM. So from the moment I did that, I was hooked and I was in love. And I wanted to find a way to get back in. So I got STEM certified, and
Wow.
that's how I end up with. That's also another reason why I did my book, because I found out that bookmaking is actually part of STEM as well.
Oh,
From
okay.
from the production of actually making the physical books
Uh-huh.
to novel engineering,
Oh,
where you
didn't know
find,
that. Okay.
oh yeah, it's like a whole thing. As soon as I found that out, I was like encapsulated. I was like, oh, I can do this thing. I can,
Wow.
write a book and produce a book and show kids how to do it. And that was the same year I found out that we had 2 kids in our district that were authors, and they were fourth and fifth grade.
Oh,
So that's what I use to show students like, hey, this is a relevant thing that you can do now. You don't have to wait until you
right.
graduate high school to do it now. So, and then that's how young writers came
Okay, so does the young writer, so do they meet during school hours or is that something after school?
after school. It's an
Okay,
after school club. Um, one of the two, because STEM is the second one.
okay,
But yeah, it is after school, and we meet every Monday this
okay.
year.
So about how many students do you have in that writers?
Originally, when I first started, there were four. There were two boys and two girls. And I love to see that the men were there because, there's that societal standard that men don't read, therefore men
Mm-hmm.
don't write, which is so crazy to me because
Right,
most of the textbooks that we have are from men, more
right,
from men than women.
right, exactly.
A lot of the scientific articles that I read, sometimes just for fun, they're mostly from men,
Okay.
So I thought it was really awesome that I ended up getting two boys, but
Hmm.
the boys did it for like half the semester, and they were like, "No, thank you." So
Okay,
then
I
it
could,
was
yeah.
just the two boys or two girls, and then so we now have a new group of kids this
Okay.
semester. But the two girls that were there from the first semester, they
Hmm.
came back, and now I have
Okay.
two more girls. But now I'm about to have six more girls because there are two girls that their club got canceled last
Hmm.
week, and they stayed for young writers just to see because they got to choose which club to stay after for it since their club
Okay.
was canceled. And they were like, "Oh, I'm coming back. I'm gonna get my mom to sign a new form, and I'm gonna come to your club." So I was
Okay.
like, "Okay,
So that
okay."
sounds exciting.
I love
Okay.
it.
Wow. Okay. And I guess I'm really interested in that one because I like to write. So I really like the fact that you are getting, some of our younger people into writing because it gives them a chance to express themselves.
Yes.
And I think they really need that at this point. They need to know how to get it out on paper
Yes.
as to, making things happen in other
Other
ways.
ways. Yes, I
Yes.
completely agree.
Yeah, so I really like that. So I do want to know, how do you manage to keep up with your work-life balance? Because that's a lot. And I know a lot of people struggle, especially when they have kids and, a spouse, and then all of the after school. I can only imagine, that gets a little, yeah,
It
busy.
does. And I'm still working on it. It's not perfect. There are some days where my husband's like, "Hey, let's sit down and watch a movie together, or let's, sit down and cuddle." But sometimes he has to tell me because my brain goes like a million miles a minute. And if
Okay.
I think about something, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking about it, I have to do it. Otherwise, I'm gonna forget.
Okay.
But in order to slow myself down, I've learned if I'm thinking about it, jot something down. So
Okay.
I always have like a notebook or a sticky note, or sometimes I use the notes on my phone and I'll just like
Okay.
pull it out and just, write it down. But so there was one day about 4.5 years ago. I
Mm-hmm.
sat down with my friend who's the first lady of our church. Her and
Okay.
I knew each other before she became the first lady of the church.
Okay.
Um, she sat down and she was like, "Hey, so you have a lot going on, and it's not a bad thing, but," she was like, "when I think of everything you do, even in my head, it's a lot." And I was like, it is. And she was like, "Do you ever forget to do some of these things?" And I was like, "A lot of these things I do."
Okay.
So her and I sat down with a half hour journal page.
Okay.
So, or like it's time stamped for the half hour. So from the moment I wake up until the moment I go to bed,
Okay.
it's time stamped by 30 minutes.
Hmm.
And I plug in all the things that I do. But it's for a week. So that way I can see it laid out
Okay.
like for a week. Um, and then I can see like what things I am like wasting my time on doing. So if I'm just flicking through social media for 2 hours, like
Okay.
that's but we had started out with like not necessarily things that were planned, but
Hmm.
just things that I was doing. So
Okay.
that way I can see where I was actually spending
Okay.
my time. And then that's how I kind of zoned in on like the things that I actually wanted to do.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
as opposed to just like my hobbies when I'm just bored and, pick up a crochet hook because, I love to crochet. That is
Okay,
that
because
is
I
my
was going to
favorite
bring
thing.
that up. I'm like, because I've seen things that you've made. So is that the business side where like the Etsy or something comes
Yes.
in? Okay.
Yes. And that's how it started with me just crocheting blankets when my husband was deployed.
Okay.
During his first deployment,
Okay.
actually. It brought
Wow.
some calmness to
Right.
my
Okay.
every being.
Wow. Yeah.
That and prayer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, yep. You have a lot.
Yes.
So as an author, what inspired you to start writing, and how do you balance that creative process with your other roles as an educator and small business owner? Because I know writing sometimes takes, a little time and quietness. So how do you balance that out?
Um, I'm a little bit weird when it comes to writing. So my writing group has told me. Um, I can sit down and write something out in 30 minutes tops.
Mm,
But I don't, when I first write, I don't worry about grammar, which is
right.
something that I do with my Young Writers Club. We don't worry about grammar. We don't worry about formatting. We don't worry about any of it. We just get it all out.
Right.
And if the story is something that I want to stick with, then I go back to um, like going over it and
Okay.
fixing all the grammar and all that stuff. But I really like if my husband's playing a video game, I'll
Hmm.
pull out my book and write.
Okay.
If I don't feel like writing, I'll do something with the business. If I don't feel like doing either one of those, then I'm just crocheting something, which usually winds up in my business or as like a
Okay.
what do you call it? Like a baby shower gift. Because
Okay.
I love making blankets for baby showers.
Okay, I'm gonna have to keep that in mind.
Yes.
So, is there anything that, because I know how school districts are, their budgets are, being cut everywhere. So, is
Yeah.
there anything that, like, if somebody sees this video, something that people in the community could, help out with, especially, when it comes to the STEM club? Is there anything?
Yes. So right now, young writers, we're good because all we need is paper, pencil,
Mm-hmm.
and I have more than that than I know what to do with right now. But for the STEM Club, I actually have, as of right now, 6 donor choose projects. And I know that sounds like a whole lot, but if you go in and you look and you see the amount of kids, because I have like 20 to 25 kids that stay for
Oh,
STEM
okay.
Club. And like this month, we're going into for Black History Month baking ice cream because we're doing the history of the ice cream scoop and
Mm,
how, ice cream was able to be mass produced. Um, and then we're also doing the history of the potato chips. So we're going to be making potato
okay.
chips. I have one deep fryer for all 25 of them to work on. And I have 3 ice cream makers for
Okay.
them to work on. We made it happen last year with the same amount of kids.
Okay.
So I know we could do it this year. It's always hectic when you don't have enough to go
Right.
around. So I do the donors choose projects, and the ones that I have up now will give it to where we'll have like 5 kids in one group as opposed to,
Okay.
10 kids in one group. So the more we do the donors choose projects, we'll
Okay.
get the items that we need. So there will always be a donors choose
Okay.
project to
Right.
help
Okay.
with.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you would, send me those links, and then I'll link them to this video, and then hopes that people will, donate a little bit. So how long are those open? Do you?
They're usually open about 3 months tops.
Okay.
Yeah. So the ones that I have up now, I believe that I made at either at the end of December or the beginning of January.
Okay. All right. Okay, so again, I want to thank you for joining me, and I really am honored. And again, as I told you earlier, I am really proud of you because I remember back, when you were in the building, working as an aide, and then now I look and it's like each month it's like, okay, she's doing this, and I'm like, wow, okay, she's moving right along. So
Yes.
you have your plate full. And it has truly been a pleasure having
Thank
you with me
you.
today and hearing about your incredible journey as
Thank
that
you.
author, educator, and a business owner.
Well, I could not have done all of that without, people to look up to, you or being one of them.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But like I said, I want, it's just so strange to see somebody, it's like how they say out of sight, out of mind.
Yes.
And then, it's like, we all split up. And
Yeah.
then, next thing I'm like, okay, she's a teacher over here. I'm like, okay, well, when did that happen? And then, okay, she's doing it. Well, when did that happen? Then I saw the article. I'm like, okay, she's just still going. So,
Yeah,
yes,
that article caught me way off guard. I was like, oh, they want to interview me?
right.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's really good, I think, for students to see, and especially students that look like us. And it is
Yes.
Black History Month. So that's another reason why I'm like, I want to get some people, I want to get you before some people so that they can see, okay, we have some, Black girls doing STEM,
Yes.
so, we're trying to make it happen. So I just want to kind of get the word out there and
Yes.
hopes that I could get you some help also with some of your projects.
Thank
You
you.
never know. Somebody might see it and say, oh, I think she needs a donation. I don't know. You never know until you try. That's what
That
I
is
say.
so true.
That is so true. So again, I want to thank you and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you so
All right.
much.
Thank you so much. And you have a great day. All righty.
Thank you. You
Oh, you're
too.
welcome. There we go.